Hey friends, thanks for clicking on this video and joining in on what is a forgotten test of blended black powder. The blend is alder cherry. Now I've done tests with alder by itself, cherry by itself, and I've actually done a blended test with 80 grains of alder cherry, but I did that through my Great Plains. I did a test with alder cherry through my flintlock, but it was 70 grains. Now what kind of got me to looking at this and saying, hey, I forgot to do that, was that I'm going through the process of separating all my numbers to the first shot with a single source charcoal as opposed to the first shot with a blended charcoal. And when I got to the cherry alder, it's like, wait a minute, I don't have any numbers with 80 grains by weight with the cherry alder blended. So that's one of the purposes of this video. And it's just about to that time of morning when the breezes pick up, so don't know how bad it's really going to be, but I'll try to speak up a little louder so you can hear me when I can feel the breeze. But going back to alder as a single source charcoal, I had a flyer over here, and I'm pretty sure I called that out when it happened. But this is 80 grains by weight, and that's what alder as a single source gunpowder did. Okay, then the cherry as a single source gunpowder, 80 grains by weight, did that. Okay, with a flyer. And once again, I call that. Okay, so I want to do some testing. This is the target with the alder cherry blended 80 grains, 70 grains out of my flintlock. And you can see that 70 grains opened up a little bit. Okay, but the numbers really weren't all that impressive by themselves, such as the first shot with the alder 80 grains by weight was only 1777, and then the first shot with the cherry 80 grains by weight was 2083, and we all know that that's not a good number, but the highest number that I did get when I did that shooting was 1958, and then the next highest number was 1902. So I definitely want to do some testing with this, and the reason why I want these numbers at 80 grains by weight through a flintlock is because we all have to understand and comprehend that the gases that your charcoal sources are going to produce when you ignite it, some of those gases do escape throughout the touch hole. That's why you get the flash in the pan. So in order for me to be accurate for myself with these numbers, I have to do some shooting with 80 grains by weight of the alder cherry blended. Now I've already pre-weighed out 80 grains. Let me show you what that looks like in the powder measure that I'm going to use. So there's the powder measure, and if you can see, I'll try to move it around, it's just a little bit above the 80 grain mark. And remember, this is pucked with a 12-ton bottle jack. Okay, I would say if you were gonna do that as a static, it'd probably be pretty close to maybe 82 grains, 83 grains. I think 83 would be pushing it, but that's what it looks like right now. And of course, all my chargers are settled. I've done tests on this channel with the Mullen, I believe it was, the difference between static and settled, and weighed those out, and there's a huge difference, just a huge difference in that weight. So I'm going to finish getting set up, make sure that everything is lined up, wait for the sun to get a little closer to its apex because it's like about 10 o'clock in the morning, and I want to make sure that when I do these tests that I'm doing it within a specific time so that when I look at my numbers, I know when I shot these because I'm keeping everything pretty much the same. So I'll get finished setting up, and then when I get done with this, I'm going to turn around and do another set of tests. Let me show you what I'm going to do here. When I did the test with the Century plant that I milled with the brass media and the lead media, I made the statement that the gunpowder milled with the brass, it started opening up. And I got a few comments underneath that from people saying, well, you kind of screwed up the test because you changed patches. And okay, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But I want you to keep something in mind as I do the second test on this video right here. When it comes to a hunting situation, to me, that's what really matters. If you're at a mountain man rendezvous and you're shooting at a target 80 yards out, say about that big, and you hit it, yay! But you hit the lower left corner. That's not accuracy. That's just plain doo-dah, dumbass luck, okay? So when I'm in a hunting situation, I change what my scope of being a target is, and that's 4 inches. So after I get done testing the blend, and if this group's really good, I'm going to go back, post this target, and I'm going to try a variety of patches. Something to do, something to think about, and we'll look and see what those results are at that point. And I will tell you that I have a variety of patching material to test. So you might want to stay tuned for that. And like I said, I'm going to finish getting set up here, make sure everything is aligned, and then we'll go to do some shooting. Okay, just in case anybody's curious, I've moved back to my normal 30 yards, and the temperature right now is 45 degrees, 10:30 in the morning, and I am using cherry alder in the flash pan. $17.95. But that 20 thousandths pillow ticking patch is shredded. And I got the bottom side of the bullseye, missed it by about that much. In fact, I'll turn the camera around so you can see it, and then we'll get loaded up and take the second shot. Okay, there's where the bullet impacted, going down a clean barrel. Make of it what you will. If I was out deer hunting, that shot would have made meat. $17.55, and I made meat, and that patch stayed together. Interesting, but it's pretty clean. Just like the last time I tested cherried as a single source, it was clean. Alder was clean, blended. It's still pretty clean. $17.75. Alright, go mark off the target, find the patch, if I can. That shot cut the first hole, and there's the patch. Clean. Yeah, it's clean, and it's not shredded like that first patch. So, alright, get loaded up and just do some more shooting. $17.72. Clean. And I made meat. It's pretty clean. Alright, I got one more shot to go. So guess what I get to do over the next couple of days? I made the all-time classic mistake of grabbing it too high up, and it snapped. It snapped that far down into the barrel. Not that it was hard, it's just that I just grabbed it too high and it snapped. But that's okay. I get plenty more of this material where it came from. So I'm actually loading with my range rod now. All right, let me get this charge primed and we'll get another number. $17.80. All right, I'll go mark off the target, swap them out, and then we'll do the secondary testing that I wanted to do in this video. Okay, there's that 5th patch. It's clean. It's clean. Okay, let me orient the target. There's the target. Got a double here, and you can see the other 3 shots right there. I'm going to do my next testing with the same gunpowder because the gunpowder shoots good. The reason I'm doing this, and I could be wrong, but the reason I'm doing this is that, again, when I tested that century plant that I milled with the lead ball, it started opening up. And some people were saying, well, I screwed it up because I used a different patch. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to use different patches. Same gunpowder, same mill, and we see how it shoots. And I increased the target size to 4 inches because, well, first of all, I can do that. Second of all, I stated before, what I care about is when I'm out hunting, can I make meat? Depending on what patch I choose to use to make meat, things might change. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a couple of shots each. Same thing, I'll go out, mark them off, and I'll tell you what the patches are when I make those 2 shots, at the end of the 2 shots. I'm not going to chronograph anything because I already know what this gunpowder does. All right, I'm going to get loaded up and we'll see if I can make meat with a 4-inch target. I got too much sun in the view screen. Let me walk up, mark it off. Well, I made meat. Are you expecting me to show you the patch? Let me ask you this question. If you was on a deer hunt, would you take the time looking for a patch? No. You'd only be concerned with bullet placement. All right, I'm going to get loaded up with the same material and take my second shot. All right, I'll go see if I made meat. Well, I made meat. That patch shredded. All right, I'll do the same shot, the same patch, and we'll see where it impacts. Stay tuned. So did you guys really expect me to zoom in on that? You have to wait till the end. Did I make meat? Well, did I make meat? I'm about to find out. Oh, sad face. Didn't make meat. All right, I'm going to try another patching material, but bear in mind, that first shot with this patching material, I made meat. I made meat, but I'm not going to show you the patch. Just simply because I'm trying to prove a point. Okay? Just trying to prove a point, but at the end of it, I'll tell you what everything was and what the thickness of it was. I just want to see what kind of a group I can get by using different patches. I think I can see with that one wet, but you could also see I had a hang fire too. So even with that hang fire, I made meat. I got one more patch to try, and we'll see what it does. And as you can see, my flint's getting a little dirty, so I'm going to just take a moment or two and just kind of chip the edge a little bit so I can have something real sharp to ignite this powder. Okay, I got to admit, that one was a little hard to load, even with my range rod. But how many shots have I taken already? Okay, so that might be a good testament to just how clean cherry alder blended really is. All right, here's my last shot. We'll see what it does. Okay, it's so nice out here. I think we'll just finish up. The cherry alder, 5-shot average, 80 grains by weight, 1775.4 with a spread of 40. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I have no complaints with that at all. Okay, now for the second test. Shots 1 and 2. What I did is I took 2 10,000ths patches and put one on top of the other. That was shot 1 and 2. Obviously 100% cotton, but very, very sheer and very, very thin. Shot 3 and 4 was this material. 14,000ths. Again, looking at it, the weave is not all that tight. But remember, one of these ended up being a flyer. Shot number 5 and 6 was 18,000ths flannel. And shot number 7 was 18,000ths duck cloth. Now that has a very tight weave. Now you're probably really curious to look at the target. Let me orient it correctly. About like that. You can see the flyer, but everything else is right there. So the point that I'm getting at, sorry about that. I hate it when I get interrupted with a phone call. But the point that I'm trying to make is this. I built this gun in 1999, and it's been to nearly every single rendezvous that I went to, except for the past 5 or 6 years, and that's when I started shooting my Great Plains. But in the course of my buck skinning, and I've mentioned this before, I've heard all kinds of excuses for misses. When I tested that gunpowder that I made with the Century plant, there were 2 things that were observed. When I milled it with the brass, there was less feet per second than with the lead tin combination. And I showed everybody in a previous video how hard my media is. But it's lighter than what the brass media was, and I'll expand on this a little bit further when I get with my friend Broken Feather. But there was a couple of comments from people in the comment section saying, well, I kind of pretty much screwed that test up because I swapped patches. I used a different patch. And even though one patch may have been pillow ticking and the other patch may have been the same, 20,000ths patch, it was a different patch. Well, again, what this shows is I used different patches, different materials. This gun is accurate, other than that one flyer. This gun made meat with a variety of patches, even doubling some 10,000ths that are very, very thin material. Even the flannel shot good. I don't have to show you what the 20,000ths patches did because that was when I was testing the cherry alder blended. So, gentlemen, please stop pushing dogmatism over data, because this data right here shows that this flintlock with a Green Mountain barrel in particular shoots good. And I've said this before, the gun don't miss. I do. So I hope this gives everybody some food for thought, even when it comes to patches. Now I will tell you, I picked up 4 of those patches, and I forgot to tell you this. Let me see if I can find them and I'll show you. Stay tuned. So here's one of those 14 thousandths patches. It's shredded, but I made meat. It grouped good. Here is both of those flannel patches. I made meat. Again, other than shot number 4, I think everybody out there would be happy with this grouping. Honestly, I think everybody would be. Now, what did the 2 10,000 patches look like? Yeah, I balled one up, but it shredded like crazy. Okay, but I still made meat. All right, guys. Do what you want with the information, but again, dogma over data. And there's the data. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a great day. Bye.